Hi, I am here today not for a live Q&A, but answering a calling that I received to share a painting that I've been working on for a while. For me, using art is part of my healing journey. And this painting is one of those that has played a very big part lately in my healing. It's not finished. And there are many pieces about this painting that I want to share with you. But I'm going to show you the painting first. And this is what it looks like. I'm just checking to see if you can see it. Yeah. Okay. So I started this painting thinking that I wanted to make something with the circles that would symbolize all the layers that we peel off on our healing journey. The trauma that we peel off, the conditioning that we peel off, everything that's not ours, anything that no longer serves. And then I showed it to my coach, my trauma therapist, and she said, oh, that looks like an ancestral circle. I don't know if that's the correct word, but it doesn't matter. And that really resonated, and it felt so true. So what this is me here in the middle, and then there are two lotus petals that are my parents. And the next ring are my grandparents. And the ring outside of that are my grandparents, and then my great-grandparents, and so on. And that's as far as I've gotten now. Two of my great-great-grandparents. Why this is important is because we're not isolated from our ancestors. We are part of our ancestors. It's in our DNA. It's part of what we today research call epigenetics, which I find fascinating, that what our grandparents and maybe even great-grandparents and maybe even further on, what they do affect the DNA that then shows up in our physical bodies, affecting us today. So when we do healing work, we're not just doing healing on what's present in our personal experience, in our life, but part of that is also what we bring with us from our ancestors. And many of us have a lot of trauma from our ancestors. There's a lot of famine, violence. Maybe some of us have even experienced having witches, or maybe even in past lives, witches being burnt at the stake or similar things like that. So these dark things on the edges are part of that. And all the yellow and all the light coming out is the light that we are underneath all of that. And all of these dark parts are part of who we are. I don't believe that there's an end goal to the healing journey unless you become enlightened in this lifetime, which I don't think I will. Maybe you will, I don't know. But part of the healing journey is being able to embrace these dark areas in ourselves. Allow them to be a part of us. Embrace them with love and compassion, and do the healing work with them when the time is right. Because that's another piece that I find really important on the healing journey, which is divine timing. That everything happens when the time is right. We can try to push the healing, but it's not very beneficial. And I'm actually going to talk about that tomorrow in my live Q&A, which will be about why slowing down on the healing journey is actually quicker. So I don't know if you can see it very clearly, but here around the outside there is a bit of shimmering white. Yeah, I think I'm going to turn it this way to see if maybe there's more. And that shimmering white are ancestors that I have connected with that are from very far back. I don't have a specific time period for them, but they have come to me in both my healing sessions with my trauma therapist and in other situations when I've been in meditation and in other situations. And I don't experience them as specific beings, but more like a collective loving support. If you want to read more about ancestral healing, there's a book called, I think it's called Ancestral Healing by Daniel Four. I can add it in the comments to this. To me, this is something that I find fascinating, and that was not something that I planned on doing work on when I began my healing journey. It's something that came to me. In several of my healing sessions, some of my ancestors would come to me and support me with different things. Even some of the ones around here. The only one that is alive from all of these is my dad. My mom and my great parents and the others, they have all passed. Let's see, what else did I want to say about this? Yeah. Another thing that I find important, and I've connected a little bit to it, but I've chosen not to go into it very much, which is connecting to the ancestors that are troubled. Daniel Four uses another word for this. I don't remember exactly what he calls it, but I choose to call them troubled. The ones that are still caught in some form of trauma or whatever it is, that haven't passed on to like the state where all these other ones are at. So those are ancestors that are not able to support on the healing journey because they themselves need support in moving on to that enlightened or the loving state. And Daniel Four writes that they can actually cause harm in your life. So that is why I have actively chosen to ask them to stay out of my sphere. Let's see what else is in this painting. Another piece that came the other day to me was what came through in these lights, and it's that there are so many of these ancestors, and I feel them right now, and it really moves me because there's so much love. And they are so willing to support us on our healing journey. And connecting to that love is sometimes overwhelming which I realize right now, when that light comes in with the love, with the healing energy, it comes in doses that we are ready to receive if we just allow it to happen. And that's something I'm going to talk about more tomorrow in the live Q&A as well, because allow is a word that has been very important to me in my healing journey. And it is when I sit and I allow all of this to come that it becomes so powerful and the healing becomes so deep for me. And that's one of the reasons why this painting isn't finished. I don't even remember when I started it. I think it was sometime last year. And I've tried, sitting and like, oh, I should finish this painting. But when I sit, nothing happens. I don't receive information. I don't receive inspiration. I don't know what to do with it. So allowing for myself to be one of them is being receptive, right? Being receptive to the information and the inspiration when it comes. And the other one is allowing myself to receive it. Let's see, there was something else there. Yeah, something about that. Just like on our healing journey, it's not a journey to reach the end goal. And this is something that I've talked about in my live Q&As, the importance of that. This painting is not about finishing it. For me, it's about it being a tool in my healing journey and also a tool to connect to my ancestors. And I once heard that just because you paint, you're not an artist. Well, I don't agree with that, because I believe that we are all artists. We are all creatrixes, creators. That is one of the things that being human is about creation. So if someone tells you that whatever you create is not art, know that that's not true. And one of the things that to me is important with this is that I do this for myself. I have no intention of selling it or doing anything else, and I definitely didn't have an intention of sharing it here, but it came so strongly that I needed to share this. Now, I don't want to compare myself to artists that earn a living through their art. Those are professional artists, and that, sure, of course, I can see that there's a difference between them and what I do. And at the same time, we're all artists. Okay, I'm going to leave you with this, and if you also use creation of anything, art, writing is also a form of creation, let me know. I'd love to hear about that, because this has been a very big part of my healing journey from the start. So much so that I worked with a woman called Catherine Bird a while ago. This was in, when was it? I think it was in 2019. And she was coaching me both in my healing journey and also on my journey of becoming a coach. And there was this thing that came up, and okay, so what is my purpose? What am I here to do? that part of what she had an idea that part of what I should do was use art with my clients. And sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. It's so individual, right? Anyway, either way, she just published her book called The Healer's Process. Amazing work. So if you want to check her out, go ahead and do that. I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day. Sending you so much love, and hope to see you tomorrow in my live Q&A, where I will be talking about why slowing down is quicker when it comes to healing.